All right. I'll scoot this over a little bit. All right. That'll work for now. As you can see, I decided to throw up some extra meals tonight just because we've been having some new people stop through, and I feel like before I go to open this up, I probably should do a little bit of explanation about what they're looking at. Number one. And number two, so many new people are buying quote unquote emergency stock food. They're trying to stockpile food, and a lot of people are turning to MREs. And the listings for these things, this has been a notorious problem forever. And I think it's a lot of times it's a they didn't know any better type of issue. They will list MREs as brand new when they're sometimes 42 years old. I mean, I've seen them all the way back to the original 1980 81 brown bags listed as brand new. And someone who doesn't know better thinks that those are brand new, fresh MREs, and that's not the case. That'll never be the case with the dark brown bag, meaning this color right here. And then this bag design right here in the middle is what they moved to after the brown bag, which is what we just call tan bags. And these are the new style, new design. And there's a way to tell just by looking at these if they're prior to 2014 or after 2014. And there was a NATO implication in 2014 of adding French to the bags. And you can see that right here before the English for whatever reason. I guess the menu's up there, so English would be first. But anyway, French was added to the bags, which makes it a little bit easier to know immediately by looking at one if it's, well, still that's 10 years old. I used to have some 2014s around here. I'm sure I still got a couple somewhere. Alright, let me make a quick post. I don't think I got a picture that I can use, so let me do that. Hopefully, I just got... Oh, I did. I got the video. I got a video to show you guys. It's the exact same thing that was happening last year is happening again, and there was some added things that happened, and all the footage is on this device right here, the iPhone. But yeah, it was a little bit different this time, and there was also something I didn't even notice until today. I filmed this 2 nights ago. I think it was 2 nights ago. Anyways, it's pretty cool. I'll show you guys here in a minute. Let me make a real quick post. And as you can see, I also have a chocolate nut roll, I believe from 1970. Nope, it's way newer than that, 77. See, I had one of these chocolate nut rolls, I believe from 1970, that is supposed to be in perfect condition, which is really hard to find. One of these that's even barely edible, let alone find one that's tasty, one that's actually good and enjoyable to eat. And I have one of those somewhere that Shocker71 sent me a few years ago. Okay, let me take a picture real quick. Do it in the vertical style here. I'll do one horizontal because I prefer the horizontal. Probably won't let me use it though. YouTube's definitely trying to push their style towards the TikTok style of content, hence why you're watching me in a vertical format right now. They do a lot more promotion and there's a lot more promoting live streams, even shorts right now. Shorts are being promoted over top of any long form content right now, outside of a few exceptions of, see, that's the thing, like, you got mainstream media and other mainstream, like History Channel and things like that are, I think they're all coming to the realization that their platform cable television, it's on its last leg. I don't know that it's going to go anywhere anytime soon, but they're, with the streaming options that everyone has now, that's taking over. Plus, you have YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, you've got all these other platforms that offer videos and things like that. And most people, they don't even have cable TV anymore. I'll probably have cable TV until they don't offer it anymore. I'm just a old school kind of guy. I like my TV. I like the option of being able to switch through channels of stuff that I don't even want or like. You know, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm stuck in my ways in a sense. But yeah, I'll keep my television until they probably take it away. All right, I'm definitely losing my tripod here. There we go. Let's make a quick post. So my live stream doesn't show up for me, and I thought about that. This happened last week as well, and I think that has something to do with me doing it in the vertical format. I would have to go to Shorts. Let me just try that. Let me go home. Let me go into a short. Okay, this is the Shorts. That's not where it would be, though, would it? It'd be, or would it? I don't know where you run into live streams at on here. If you got to be in Shorts to run into them, or how that works. All right. Nope, it's not going to run me in my stream. Weird. All right. I'll go to my channel and I'll find the link that way. Okay. At some point, too, within the last year or two, YouTube vertical live streaming is here. Huh. So that's the promotion screen. Whenever I go over onto my channel, it says, vertical live streaming is here. Express yourself in a new way by going live vertically on mobile. I'm already doing it. So, what? Where did all my live streams go? That's weird. Something's not right. I can't even get a link to my live stream. Storm Tracker said had cable away until November 2020. November 2020. So you had it when my TV show was still on. Which I don't know. They reran it. I'd say we probably ran into... Well, I know they reran it all the way up in 21 too. But I think they played it like a week or two ago too, which I was pretty surprised about. I had people asking me about it, which was kind of weird. And I can see way more of myself on my own screen here than I can what it's showing me right here. That's kind of weird. All right, share. Get that link. And I'll go back and make a quick post. Oops. There we go. So what's up, Multimagnum? Cliff, howdy, howdy. LC, hello, hello. Wait, LC, what? What'd you ask? Are you asking me something? Anyway, let me continue to say hello to folks that are in here. Investor, you made it. Good to see you. I probably should update you guys. Some of you guys probably want to know about the cat that I was having issues with. Let me make this post really quick. So I believe whenever I did that live stream, I had just taken her to the vet. I believe that was Monday, last Monday. And, wait, today's Sunday, right? No, today's Monday. Anyways, I had just taken her to the vet that day, I do believe. And then I called Tuesday, and the vet was pretty hopeful. Said that she had made some improvements. She was not a healthy cat in any sense of the word. She had issues from the first day that she showed up here. Well, it was like a year and a half before I ever even got hands on her. She had another cat that protected her because there were cats that were trying to kill her. I guess because she was, I don't know. I guess cats do that. Well, all animals, not all, but a lot of animals do that. If there's an injured one among them, they'll try to take it out so it doesn't take food away from them and stuff. Which I don't know why house cats would do that, but that's what they were doing, and they tried to kill that cat numerous times. Ran her up a telephone pole out there, which I couldn't get near neither one of them. And the other one, his name was Bruiser. That's what I started calling him because he was just rough. He had his ear ripped off, it looked like, at one time, and he was super mean, even all the way up to the end. Like, he came around a lot, but he got a hold of me a couple times and put holes in me just for no reason, just out of the blue. Would just smack me, and his claws were big, thick, which he must have been pretty old. He had a rough life. Well, he passed away last year. And then Cece, which I called her Cece because she was crippled. She had had a broken leg when I first seen her, and that went on for like a year and a half before I ever got hands on her. And by that point, like, her leg had healed back, and I didn't really see the point, which I did take her to the vet a couple times, and they didn't seem to think that it was really a problem. But I know for a fact that was causing her issues. It ended up, I think she had infection throughout her body for a little while, and that's, I'd given her antibiotics a couple times, and I would see improvements. But this last time, I gave her a round of antibiotics. I gave her antibiotics for about 2 days based on her weight and the milligrammage that I had. I tried to break it down, which she was really lightweight. She was a lightweight cat, so I wasn't giving her a whole lot. But some of the problems she had seemed to improve, but her overall health went downhill quick. So we went to Ethan's birthday party on a Sunday, and she was outside, and I came back, and she came up on the front porch and just wasn't looking good. And that's the night that I started hand feeding her and hand watering her, and got her into the vet the next day, and he wanted to keep her. He asked me if there was anything, if he said there's a chance that she might not make it through it. And like I said, I called the next day, and he said she was making some improvements, but she didn't make it. Thursday. She passed away Thursday. And I know most people are going to be like, oh, it's just a cat. And most people think that way. I don't know. They definitely become part of the family in a sense. Not, I would say not as much as our dogs do, though. It's I don't know, just a little bit different. I don't know how to explain it. Cats don't have that attachment to my, I guess, my soul or some my like feelings, and my, I mean, I care for the cats for sure, but as far as the dogs go, like, it's different with them. They make a connection. In my opinion, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying not everybody's going to feel this way, because cats do have their own. They have their own, like, agendas and their own world that they're living in. I feel like We've had one cat. It was the only cat we wanted. Not really. She just showed up actually, but we decided after she showed up that we wanted her, Minnie, and she is at least 16, 17 years old now, and you would never guess it. A lot of you guys have seen her on my live streams, but she she has her own agendas. She'll take off sometimes. Like she started taking off for like the longest she was ever gone was a week, and it worried me to death. But now she's coming. She's starting to come back like every day now, at least every other day. But she does her own thing. She doesn't go into somebody else's house, which is what I thought for a couple of years. I was like, she's got to be going in somewhere else, because in the wintertime she'll stay gone when it's cold outside, and it don't make no sense to me. So what is it? I'm missing a piece of. I don't have a driver's license, so that part of my family's missing. What is it? Driver's license. Right here I have Tuna's hanky. Well, she's better off. Like, not usually do I feel like putting an animal down, or anything, which is not what happened. She died on her own. She died of liver failure is what the vet told me. Her liver was failing, and now I know what that smell is. He said you could smell it on her breath. I smelled it on her breath, and it smells different from an infection smell, which is what it all started with. I could smell infection on her breath, and then it changed at some point to a different type of smell. It's just, I don't know how to describe it either. It's a sickly, foul smell that they have, and she was suffering. She wasn't getting better, although she did the first day. I think she got fluids in her, but her liver was failing, and she didn't have a chance, really. There wasn't any more I could have done for her. So, all right, I'm going to move off of the doom and gloom, and we're going to get over to what we're looking at here today. So, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if we got any new folks in here or not. If we do, let me, which this obviously came out of a old meal combat individual. This is what they used during the Vietnam era. The type of meals that they had would have been in cans like that. Do I have one sitting here? I might have one sitting. Yeah, I do. Actually, I have one sitting here. I got an open accessory packet here. I like to have an old cigarette. Okay. So there's the old accessory packet. Looks like empty pack of Marlboros. I think I got a couple Camels left in there, of my old Camels. I'd like to have one of those. It's the only old pack of Camels I've ever gotten out of an accessory pack. It's weird. I've opened a bunch of accessory packets, you guys know. There's the old style spoon, which that came in MREs for a long time, all the way up into the 90s, early 90s. Crackers and candy B unit. And then, what else is in there? Ham and eggs chopped. And then we got a can of fruit that is, I do believe, stuck in there. Yep. It's kind of glued in there. This is a really good looking Meal Combat individual too. It's did have a can of peanut butter right there as well. But this box is in really good shape. And the meal itself was in really good shape too. I believe it was a 71 or a 70, something like that. That's from another box that was next to it. The only spot that this one's got that came from the inside is that little spot right there. The rest of it is in really good shape. And I wonder if I probably couldn't get that off of there. That's soaked and stained, probably. Nope, it's not all the way through. Maybe you could get that off of there. Maybe there is a way to restore this, but it still looks good. I guess there's a little stain right there too. greased looking stain. That is a good looking box. Good looking meal. So that's what came prior to the MRE, and then you can go back even further than that. You get into the ration combat individuals, the C rations, the K rations, and just keep well, really, that's the beginning. World War II was really the start of individual meals being able to be carried around, long-term food storage. Of course, there was stuff before that. It just wasn't as mass-produced. World War II brought along a whole new era of food technology that the United States military was responsible for. Well, I guess NATIC, the research aspect of it, and the Army is responsible for a lot of the food technologies that we use today. So, and if you go back even further, the war aspect of it, Napoleon was the one that came up with, well, he didn't come up with it. What the heck? The guy who invented the can. Name's on the tip of my tongue. Daggone it. Anyways, Napoleon came up with a contest. He wanted to come up with a way to keep food longer, to get it to the front lines of the fighting, because a lot of times food wouldn't even make it that far up into the fighting areas. It would spoil and go bad before they could get it up there to them. So he put out, I think it was 20,000 francs was the equivalent, and I think the last time I double-checked that, which now with inflation, it'd probably be like $250,000 today. And the last time I checked, I think it was like 175,000 or 200,000. So probably maybe $250,000 in today's money was the contest. The winner got that much money, the 20,000. I think it was 20,000 francs. And that revolutionized the way fighting happened. Whenever you could feed your soldiers, if you cannot feed your soldiers, you can't efficiently fight a war. It's a struggle the whole time because you need food. You have to have food. So that changed really the entire world. Today we rely on a lot of preservatives and things that I don't wholeheartedly agree with. The more I've gotten into researching and learning the history and learning the future and learning what's contained in not just this, but our everyday food. Our everyday food is maybe even worse than this. We're in a pretty poor state of our current food. So, oh, by the way, don't forget to hit that thumbs up or down. Either way, Google does not care. They just want your feedback. They want you to, I don't know, give them your thoughts. So that's an up or a down. And I think you can like tap on hearts or something to react. So I don't know if that helps. I know it does on TikTok, but I don't know if it does on here or not. All right, let me get back over here. I can't. Oh yeah, I can. All right. So anybody who might be new here, I will kind of try to explain to you a little bit about what you're looking at up here. Just because, like I mentioned earlier, there's more people coming through. But if you don't come through when it's live and you're rewatching this, you can just skip past this if you know this information. It's pretty common knowledge amongst the ration community, the MRE community, as far as the difference between these and what that means. And I explained earlier that people will list these for sale as being brand new, and clearly they're not. Like, I don't know, they'd be 30, 40 years old. This one right here is, what, 96, it'd be what, 28 years old? 28, 29 years old. Obviously, if you bought this online as being brand new, you would probably be pretty disappointed, right? I mean, yeah, it's unopened. You can say it's unopened, but it is certainly not brand new. And even to get your hands on a brand new MRE is going to be pretty hard to happen. Like, even one made the same year as it is. Like, that rarely happens. Usually, the typical standard MRE is going to be 2 to 3 years old. We've started seeing 2-year-old ones a lot more commonly. But back when I first got into this, if you saw a 3-year-old MRE, that was as fresh as you were going to find, really. And we were all fine with that. I mean, that's pretty much the going rate, the standard 3 years old. That's when they kind of try to cycle them out, is at the 3-year point. That's whenever the cases say they have an inspection date on them, which is not a Best Buy date or anything like that. It's a date to go through and make sure rats haven't chewed them up, the boxes haven't gotten wet, they haven't been sitting in the sunlight for the past who knows how long, things of that nature. All right, let me see here. Oh boy. Awesome. Well, that just sucks. All right, from left to right, I do believe this is like a 91 or 92. These are all, well, 2 out of 3 of these are iconic menus. Corned beef hash, probably the best MRE ever made, in my opinion. This one, I don't think is in very good shape. I didn't even realize that I had this until today, and I had to dig to get back to this. But this, I'm pretty sure this is like a 91 or 92. It could be a 93, maybe. I don't think it is, though. Sometimes there will be a date stamped on this little flap. We do not have that going on here. What's that say right there? Okay, it doesn't say anything. Nope, no date. Made by Right Away Foods, though, which turned into Rafco later on. And this one's got a little spot on it right there. But MREs looked very similar to this in this color style of bag from 1980 all the way up to 1995. That was, well, how many years was that? 16 total, if you count 80. So a 16-year run that they were in this style of bag. And around 1989 or 88, they started putting these big numbers on them. And prior to that, they didn't have those big numbers. So it's kind of a different generational look if you're looking to kind of pare them down just by looking at the bag. That might be an indicator for you to know that it was after 1990. I think it was 1988, because 86, 87 were another generation, and then 88 to 95, they looked like this. I mean, 88 and 89s were different than 1990 to 95. 1990 to 95 were the best era of MREs, in my personal opinion. Even though they did do away with corned beef. I think they did away with corned beef hash the last year, didn't they? I think. But anyway. Then we move over to this style of bag, which is 1996. That's what year this bag is. It's the first year of issue of this new style bag when they switched from the dark brown bag over to the tan bags. And they looked just like this all the way up until 2007. So 96 to 2007, the brown bags had a little longer run. These didn't change much. They came out with like some weird style bags that were like, I think, who made those? don't think I have one laying around here, but they came up with a different style bag that it just kind of showed up randomly, I guess. I don't think there was any rhyme or reason to when they used those bags, but they don't look like this, okay? The new style bags, there are 3 different styles of designs on the bags. I don't have all 3 of them out here, but they all have this new style design. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want to know if it's after 2014, it'll have French on it right here. Prior to that, from 2008 to 2013, no French, no NATO requirements, no NATO approved or requirements, whatever. They started adding French to them, so you can pretty easily identify that. And that right there, that MRE right there took how many years to make? 30 years in the making, more or less. 25, 30 years to come up with the MRE pizza. The troops asked for it and asked for it. They wanted pizza in their MREs. And they actually worked on that and worked on that and worked on that and worked on that to accomplish that MRE pizza. There was a whole lot of technology, a whole lot of trial and error that went into finally coming up with a viable pizza. And then, I mean, they're just little tiny pieces about, I don't know, just little squares about that big. I don't know why they didn't put at least 2 of those pieces in there or make them double the size. I wish they would have done that because to me, that's just not big enough for the main. This is a good overall menu, though. I think they did an all right job with that. But today we're going to be focused on this 1996. Which I guess I can leave these up here, huh? In the background. But both of those right there, it's just an opinion, but I would say most people would carry the same opinion that these are 2 of the most iconic menus ever produced by Native Food Labs for the United States military. Corned beef hash and pizza slice. You know, I was the first one to get a actual review of a pizza slice up on YouTube, but it was not American. The first pizza slice that came out in circulation, it was it Swedish? Wait. What did that come out of? I can't even remember what it came out of. But it wasn't pepperoni. It was cheese. It was just a cheese pizza. Bacon flavored, maybe? I don't remember. It's been so long. It's been like 7, 8 years ago. But I got that review out, I don't know, a year and a half or so before the pizza slice came out. And then it was another little bit before I think did Steve get the first review of a pizza slice up? American pizza slice? I can't remember. But back in the day, they had really cool, interesting menus. I do feel like the menu variations and just choices back in the day were better. Another thing I didn't mention was in 1996, they finally upped the menus a little bit. Because from 1980 to 1995, there was 12 menus. That was it. You had to pick one of 12 menus, and guys would get menu fatigue because you've only got 12 different options. And what if you don't like 3 or 4 of them? You don't want to eat 3 or 4, and that pares you down to 8 or 9. And if you got to eat them for a couple weeks, 3 meals a day, which you probably would never eat 3. I mean, most people wouldn't eat 3 a day, 2 a day, and you should be good. But some guys do. There's guys out there that eat 3 a day. They throw away half the meal, but they still get issued 3 a day and open 3 a day. This particular one was also made by Right Away Foods later. Ended up becoming Rafco in that was 89 they were Rafco. So I guess they went from Rafco over to Right Away Foods after 89, right? Or was it 98? No, it was 89, right? Wow. Had a brain fart. I don't know why. Anyways, they upped the menus. They went from 12 to 16 in 1996. And then in 1997, they added a couple more. They went up to 20. I think they went to 20, right? Or was it 18? I think they went to 20. So they went from 12 to 16 and then up to 20. And in 1998, finally, for the first time ever, there was 24 different menus. They had a full 2-case run of Case A and Case B. From 1996 to 97, they were Case A and Case B. There were just overlapping menus. 1 through 4 were unique, and then 5 through 12, there was doubles in Case B. So Case B started with menu number 5 and ran up to menu number 16. But also 96, there was a menu that didn't get made, and I think there was a replacement menu. I think it was, I want to say it was like menu number 3 or something. I'm pretty sure that was the Parmesan chicken or something like that. Chicken parm. Cannot remember. I've learned a lot about MREs over the years, and I've forgotten some things as well, as you can tell. All right, let's open this thing up. These 1996s are really hard to come by. This was a 1 year only, obviously, of the short run of 16 menus, and I have only ran across 96s and 97s a couple of times in the past 9 years. So this is not something that is common by any stretch of the word. I think every single 1996 is review worthy, whether it be in good condition or bad. My 1996s should be in pretty good shape, but it's been a long time since I've had one. So from 96 out of this particular case, and I was only able to get my hands on one case, well, Case A and B of 1996s. And I have been using the duplicate menus for live streams, and I do believe this is the last one that I have, except I've got a boring menu. I can't remember what it is. I've got one more that's a duplicate menu. It might be spaghetti or hot dogs, one or the other. I can't remember. We're going to take a look. It's a whole new style here, 96. There was a little bit of leftover dark brown packaging that they used in 96, and maybe even all the way up into 97, maybe even all the way up into 98. I've never had a case of 98s before. They're also hard to come by. First year of the full run of 24 menus. All right, I want to smell this. It just smells like fresh plastic. It doesn't have that weird old MRE like industrial smell. It just smells like really fresh, brand new plastic. All right, let's take a look. First things first, we have accessory packet A. 57th day. That's what those numbers indicate. The first number will be the year, so that you kind of got to know what era it comes from just to be able to use the date codes properly. So the first number is the year, and then the next 3 numbers is what day of the year it was. So it was the 157th day out of 365. So that would have put it, like May, probably, somewhere around May. I'm just guessing. What's in here? We got Tabasco in there, and we got the red tasters, which is always bad. Well, it usually is bad. I guess not always. There's our accessory packet. Hey, Tim, what's going on? Dale Earnhardt, enjoyer, what's happening? Good to see you guys in the chat. Just looking down at the chat real quick. There's our partially biodegradable MRE spoon that has not changed since 1992. If I was to open that MRE right there, which might be like a 2022, 2023 even maybe. I think I had a case of 23s. Anyway, it'll have the exact same spoon. Like, they must have just decided to commit to these spoons 100%. They're not changing them. If it works, don't mess with it, because they are still exactly the same today as they were, I believe, 90, like halfway through 91. Me and Steve tried to figure this out one time by opening up some 91s, 92s that we had. And it seems like whenever we done that, like some of our 92s even, it might have been 90, 91. But it was like a half year, mid-year, and then some manufacturers had the new spoons and some didn't. So there's some varying factors on when the MRE spoon exactly started universally in every meal. But somewhere along that range, 90 to 92. Look at that. That is MRE Gold. If you don't know, this is the oatmeal cookie, chocolate covered, made on the 135th day of 1996. These things hold up impeccably well. This thing would be 28 plus years old, and it should technically be in like new condition. Flavor-wise, appearance-wise, everything. And I think some of it has to do with how well packaged they were. Completely vacuum sealed. I mean, it couldn't get any tighter than that. You can see the exact shape of what the cookie will look like in there. And this is the tri-laminate packaging. Super thick aluminum with plastic liners on the inside and outside. I think this has a lot to do with it. I think if you had the same oatmeal cookie, say in a clear baggie, it probably wouldn't hold up. I don't think it would. And I'm not a huge fan of the way the chocolate's tempered on them, but it absolutely also helps with the longevity of the oatmeal cookie, chocolate covered. Okay, cool. We've got the little nutrition, a force multiplier sheet. If you guys want to read that or anything like that, you can look through it. And it gives the ration contents, vitamins, and minerals content on this little sheet. So each meal, I guess, would have a different designated sheet, because some of them might have some of this stuff and might not. Oh, it's got a whole list of. So no, this is going to be the same in every one, because it's just a list of items. Beverage base, cocoa beverage powder, cheese spread, jalapeno cheese spread, which had started by 1996. Peanut butter crackers, oatmeal cookie bar, chocolate covered cookie, and fruits. What's the only thing with iron in it? The oatmeal cookie bar? Must have added iron. 2 items with calcium are crackers and beverage base. And then we've got B6 in almost everything except for the oatmeal cookie bar and the beverage base. They must have, instead of putting B6 in those two, they added, well, iron to one and calcium to the other. Interesting. That's an interesting little list now, looking at that. I like that. I've looked at those 100 times. And I still save the stupid things. What is that? Oh. I was like, hang on a second. Wow. Look how good a shape that flameless ration heater is. This would have been how you heat up your meal. I will not be using this thing because, number one, these old ones like this, the old cardboard ones like this, take forever just to kick off. They can take, well, now that they're old, maybe they were better when they were brand new, but I've seen them take 10 minutes just to even get started heating up, and that's with adding salt and everything in there and water. But these old ones are super long and really cool looking, and they usually work pretty well. I'd say this thing right here, since it's in such a good, like, perfect condition, no filings have come out of that whatsoever, I'd say it would work pretty decent. And these old ones get hotter than the new ones, in my opinion, in my experience. So 6106, 106th day. Earliest thing made so far. Earliest thing of the year, in the year. All right, what else we got in here? Ooh, yeah. We have our chow mein noodles. Or noodles, chow mein. Boom. 150 7th day of 1996. Put those up there. Oh, yeah. We got our crackers. 159th day, as you can see. Nice looking MRE crackers. Probably not going to be salted or be very salty even. Nice. Yes. Wait a second. Hold up. I thought that was cocoa beverage powder. It's not. It's lemon lime flavored. Okay. Well, that's fine. Lemon lime is actually a pretty good drink. What? Look at those. Wow. Man, those are in really good shape. Beautiful pack of M&Ms. Really, really nice. Love that old packaging, man. Vintage candy. Very good looking peanut butter. Look at all the different shades of brown, too, going on. I don't know if you can see the difference. That's a different shade than that. These two are about the same. And then this thing is completely different. I don't know. That's like a lighter brown, I would say. And instead of rolling it in my hands like I usually do, I'm going to knead it so it doesn't ruin the packaging. It's really nice peanut butter, though. I can already tell. Feeling perfect. Yeah, buddy. All right, last but not least, we have our pork chow mein. This is the earliest thing made in the whole ration. Maybe, let's see when the drink mix was made. Hang on. 106th day. 106th day. 6106. That might be a 5, actually. This might be from 1995. That really looks like a 5. I think it is. Huh. So maybe they used the 1995 drink mix. Cool. Packed by Shelf Stable Foods Incorporated out of Cincinnati, Ohio. So I'm going to say that that's probably a division of Warnick. Working with Warnick. Go get this in some boiling water. I'm going to take a look at that coffee before I get hot water ready, because I might not need it. There we go. That looks just like a new retort pouch. It's in really good shape. No delamination going on or anything like that. Looks like perfection. It's really good. Okay, let's take a look at this accessory packet real quick. Get rid of this bag. Well, there we go. Put that in the middle. All right, let's take a look. That smells like Tabasco and gum. Ugh, kind of doesn't smell good. All right, first things first. Taster's choice. Take a look and see if it's any good. If this is good, then that's a really good indication for the meal. Because this Taster's Choice very rarely is any good. It's not really any good. It's like gotten moisture at some point, but I'm still going to try to make it. It looks like it might reconstitute, so fold that over so it doesn't spill. And we've got our cream substitute dry non-dairy, made by National Packaging Company. Look at that ingredients list. Good lordy. That's a long ingredients list for some cream substitute. Okay, we got our little moist towelette that looks like it came from KFC. Our nice little package of Domino sugar. Gotta love Domino sugar. I got Domino sugars from 1942. Some iodized salt that also has nutritional facts printed on the back of it, which I don't even think they do that anymore. I don't think that's on modern ones. How much sodium is in this pack? What's it say? 390 milligrams of sodium in this pack. It says 16% of your daily value. And there's your United States issued butt ration, or napkins, or whatever you want to use it for, paper towel. Here's our chiclet style gum, looking pretty faded. Looking kind of rough, actually, compared to the last green gum that I got. The last green gum that I got was 40 years old, and it looked brand new, and that does not look as good. Here is our D.D. Bean & Sons matches. Strike on back. White tip, black matches. This little pack of military matches. And last but not least, out of our accessory packet, we have a bottle of Tabasco that looks perfect. Nice and full. It hasn't leaked. I don't know why the accessory packet smelled like Tabasco, but it did. It smelled like Tabasco and gum. Yep, still smells like it, even though I've taken everything out. That and plastic. It's got it's definitely got a plastic scent to it too. All right, let me go take this in there and get some water. I'll be right back. What'd you do with that jump box? Needs to be plugged in right here. Cook bacon in this thing, you can leave the door open. Because it currently smells like burnt bacon. Alright, I think I had enough water left over to do the lemon lime drink. maybe. Whoop. I'll just drop it. That'd be good. Alright, let's get the tray out. I'm going to use this moist towelette, salt, gum, matches, napkins. Might use that, probably. I probably got one open. All right. Go. Tray bent. Huh. My tray is a pretty special tray. Must be the table. I don't know. The tray does look a little bit bent, but not that bad. Huh. All right. Hey, Miss Marilyn's here. Hey, Miss Marilyn. How are you doing? It's good to see you here. Where's my cup? There we go. Let's do Pink Floyd. What is on my cup? Must not have done a very good job washing my cup last time. Is anybody on here that's a carpenter that builds houses from scratch by any chance? All right, let's take a look at this lemon lime drink. I'm going to cut it open because I want to try the dry powder. Look how perfect. Literally looks brand new. Ooh, that smells weird. Huh. Try some of the powder. It tastes the way it smelled. There's kind of like a strange, I don't know, there's like an off scent and taste to it. It's weird. Something's just different about it. I don't know if it's like something that has gone bad in it or what. It looks perfect. It didn't taste horrible. I mean, I tasted the lemon lime. It just got this other weird chemical, like off flavor to it. All right, let me go grab that and grab the main real quick. Did Alex get a shower figured out? me come down here. All right. Hang on. What does that call for 12 ounces? Yep, 12 ounces. Half a canteen cup. Nice. Whole canteen cup would be 24 ounces, obviously. I would say, I don't know, pretty close. Pink Floyd. Another brick in the wall. All right, let's watch this change color because it's going to be pretty awesome. I would say I probably only put about 10 ounces in there or so, maybe not even that. So I only had, actually, you know, I could put way less than that in there. Because I dumped 8 ounces out of that bottle into here, and this bottle was only 16.9 fluid ounces, so I only had 9 ounces to start with. Probably 2 ounces in there, so that's probably like 7 ounces in the glass. I guess I could add the rest of this with some more water. Do I not have any MRE spoons open? They're all sealed. Oh, that sucks. It's fine. I'm going to use my Australia spoon. Now this will clear up and look completely different. After I get done with this meal, I'll show you guys just a little clip of one of the videos that I took. But I did find something else really interesting on that video. Right before I started the stream, I was showing someone the video, and he pointed something out to me, and I was like, what the heck? How did I not see this when I was filming? But we watch a thing come in like it, I don't know, it's, you'd have to see it. All right, spoon. Now, that will completely change here in a minute. It'll look more like it does down here, but right now it's got that cloudier look to it. Of course, I'm going to use my Tim Tam cup. I think the chat kind of still might have messed up. I don't know. I'll show you guys this coffee, what I was talking about. Maybe it'll reconstitute, maybe it won't. I hope it does. Oh, it's got a little bit of that something. That's a pretty close-up look at it. Definitely got some moisture or something at some point, for sure. A lot of times I've seen when it gets like this, it doesn't want to come back. It's not going to be the best coffee. It does certainly affect the flavor of the coffee. Okay, I'm interested to see if this is any good. 96, it's kind of a bad year for creamers, but that's looking pretty daggone good. Yep, I like it. LC with a super chat that says, "Hey, Smokey, be interesting to see those old MREs under a microscope. That would be awesome. Then compare the well-preserved ones to the not so well-preserved ones. I need to invest in a microscope. I think you can buy like a digital one that I could plug into my phone, which would maybe change the camera feed that I have here. And even if not, I could use a different phone and plug it into the bottom. But I'm pretty sure there is a microscope that attaches to the phone to use the phone as the screen that for what you're seeing under the microscope. I'll have to look into that because I would love to start getting into the more scientific aspect of these foods and maybe even sending some off to have them tested. I think that might be a worthwhile adventure to go on or see. I'm pretty sure I got some that I know were stored really bad that would be good candidates to send off for degradation and see if there's anything living in them, parasite organisms, anything. Hopefully no parasites. Ooh, sugar's chunky. Huh, that's unusual. That accessory packet definitely had some moisture to it somehow. All right, let's take a look. Oh, thank you by the way for the super chat, LC. But yeah, I need to look. I'll have to look on eBay, see what I can find. All right, let's see what happens to this coffee. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Daggone it. Yeah, it's not wanting to dissolve for sure. Judging by that color, the only thing that dissolved properly was the creamer. Give it a mix. And this water is really hot too, so I wanted to make sure it was really, really hot to give it the best chance of dissolving this stuff. And enough time sitting in this hot water, it'll probably dissolve. It just didn't dissolve immediately like it should, and some of it's kind of stuck to the bottom of the cup, I can feel. And then you get these chunks floating around in there like this. And they will dissolve. It's just going to take a minute. And still feel some stuck to the bottom of the cup. Stuck to the spoon right there. A bit on the back side too. Huh. Alright, look at this drink. Totally different now. Got a year on it. 2008 is when this cup's from. 08. So 16 years old, roughly. Chow mein noodles. Our chocolate covered cookie. Crackers. Let's get our bowl up here for our pork. Alright, pork chow mein. 1996. Oh, wait. Let me get them crackers and stuff opened up real quick. Duh. Crackers. Let's see if we get a hiss. Yep. So vacuum release. Yep, these look completely different than the old ones that I've been eating. And I can already tell you they smell way different too. Yeah. Look, they're going to break. They're going to be a mess. All right, crackers. They don't smell bad. They just, Smelled different. It's definitely going to fall apart. Man, they got... It's... The malted barley flavor in these ones is much more pronounced than the older ones. They must have thought that was a good additive in the mid-90s. Alright, our cookie, chocolate covered. Gonna have to cut it all the way down to there just to be able to open it. There we go. Maybe I should change the chat to live chat. Let's take a look at this cookie. Oh, I just heard a little vacuum hiss release. Look at that. That looks so cool. So good. Let's look at the other side. Not added, but I like it when they're super shiny. Kind of like it is right here. That's something else, ain't it? Love it. MRE gold right there. MRE gold. Peanut butter. Yeah, I've definitely got to check on eBay LC and look at see what kind of microscope technology is out there now. I'm pretty sure there's some pretty good stuff. How do I want to open these? I think it's meant to open them this way. Looks like the tear notch right there. Looks like there's meant to be another one. Right there, it didn't quite get made. But there we go. There's them chow mein noodles. Look at that. And give them a smell. Man, those smell really good. It's a real starchy smell. They've got a nice fresh smell to them too. Kind of a crackery looking thing. In the shape of, I guess, a shape of a noodle. I've seen these. I thought they were hollow, some of them. Maybe not. I'm going to try this. That really tastes like a noodle, except crunchy. Slightly salty. I mean, it tastes like a spaghetti noodle almost, except, like I said, except the texture's wrong, but flavor-wise, very similar. I don't remember I remember these being more like tasting more like a cracker, but maybe it's because I didn't eat much of them or have a nice clean palate to try them on. Maybe, I don't know. Oops. Slung some juice. very liquidy. Super hot still, which is good. Woo, hot, hot, hot. Some nice water chestnuts there. Love the water chestnuts. I'm a huge fan of water chestnuts. I'm telling you, the quality of food back in the 80s and 90s is just better than what's going around today. It just is, unless you're paying up for it. And this would have been mass-produced food. They'd have been using probably not the best cuts of meat, not the best meat in general. And this stuff, quality-wise, is really good. Usually. Unless it's went bad or something, but that's not got anything to do with the quality. Huh. All right. Let's try it out. 28-year-old pork. Mushrooms. Look at that mushroom. Nice thick gravy. Smells quite chickeny. And you got your pork in there. Kind of some dark pork. And then you got your mushrooms and you got your water chestnuts. And there's some celery in there. Let's take a look at the ingredients list real quick, because we got celery, we got onion salt for sure, garlic, chicken stock, salt, pepper, celery, pork, and water chestnuts. Let's see. Ingredients: water, cooked pork, water chestnuts, celery, mushrooms, modified food starch, soy sauce. So we got soy sauce. Everything in parentheses after that is the soy sauce. We got corn oil, dehydrated onions. Definitely smelled that. Salt, sugar, soy lectin, spices, garlic powder, disodium isonate, and disodium glutamate. There it is. It's everything. Pretty simple ingredients list, actually. I quite like the whole contents of that. I mean, it's nothing crazy. And it's super hot right now too. It's mouth-watering. It smells so good. I mean, it's got a lot of the kind of a chicken stock scent. And I can definitely smell the pork and the onion. All right, let's give it a try. Mmm. Mmm. So these are meant to dump inside of that. I'm just going to throw a little handful of them right there. Let them soak up some of that liquid. No weird after effects so far. The pork is, most people would say it was dry. I like it this way. It's got a nice texture to it. Nice chew to it. I mean, it's definitely chewy. The water chestnut's got a really nice, crisp, apple-type texture. I love a good water chestnut. Huge fan of a good water chestnut. I do not, however, like these mushrooms so much. I mean, I guess I'll eat them, but not what I prefer. I'm gonna maybe. Get rid of those. Couple mushrooms. Weird pieces. Now, with big mushrooms like that, I don't mind. I'll eat that one. Alright. A little bite of everything. I see celery in there, pork, mushroom, the stock. A little bit of everything in the noodles. Mmm. And try a little piece of cracker with it. Definitely strong on the flavor. I'll try just a piece of the cracker without the pork chow mein. Let's see what's going on. Definitely not salty like the last ones. The last ones didn't really have salt on the outside. It was just really well incorporated into the cracker itself. Tons and tons of flavor going on here. They got a really nice toasted aftertaste. A really savory cracker. Better than any crackers you can buy, pretty much. That's my opinion. But I think I've become accustomed to these after so much time. I think that might be what it is. I really don't know. I like them, though. I really do like them. And if I could buy these, I would probably buy these over a lot of the other crackers. I like a good Ritz, but Ritz are really bad for you. Whereas these aren't so bad. I'm going to take a bite with it. I think I prefer it without the crackers. This is another one that's got to be eaten while it's hot. Cools down, it's not going to be any count. But I love the big chunks of celery. The water chestnuts are amazing. I love the texture of water chestnut. The gravy base itself, the soupy base, is really good. This is a really nice pork chow mein. I'm not a huge fan of the pork chow mein noodles. I never have been. But the dish itself is amazing. Look at all the little chunks of onions on the side of the bowl. They're all throughout it. If anybody's asking what year this is actually from 1996. First year of the tan bag. Here's a look at it up here. I think it's the third year for this menu. I think 94, 95, and then 96 had it. Okay. Something's happening. I'm having a really strong stinging sensation in my throat. What the heck? That's intense. Has anybody ever had a sour stomach before? Like when you throw up and then swallow it again? I'm just gonna say it. How your throat feels? That's how my throat feels right now. It's like identical to how that would feel. Huh. Yeah, I don't like that. What could have caused that? Could it have been the noodles? Not the noodles. So that means it had to be something in here. The pork. Huh. Look at the fat on that pork. Interesting. All right. Well, it's subsided quite a bit. It's still stinging a little bit. It's weird. It's no weird feeling in my mouth. It's my throat. All right. I'm keep going. I want it to keep going. I don't care. I don't know. I mean, I have just a really slight off feeling in my mouth. Just maybe the way it's coating my mouth and a slight numbness to it. It's really chewy stuff. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be doing it to me now. It's weird. Get on there. There we go. I mean, it tastes perfect. It tastes really good. There's just a little bit off about the mouthfeel, but I feel it on my tongue now. I think it's the pork. Huh. Well, that should be fun later. Anyway, I'm going to wash that down with some of this lemon lime drink. Stomach's already making weird noises. Okay, that's got a weird off, like, I don't know, slightly weird chemical flavor to it. I mean, it tastes all right, but it doesn't taste perfect. Kind of a, I don't know, like a bad vitamin maybe. Like a vitamin's gone bad. Is there B6 in this drink? Is there a little sheet? Let's take a look. Beverage base. Vitamin C? No. No vitamin. Just calcium. No B vitamins. Just vitamin C and calcium. That's all it says is in the beverage base. So, I don't know what that is then. It's weird. I've never experienced this exact, like, off scent and flavor before. I don't know what that could be. This, if the pork is actually bad, that sucks. More ways than one. Because I've already consumed about 3/4 of it, probably. Get on there. Maybe it's the celery. I doubt it. Whatever it is, I'm definitely feeling it on my tongue now, too. A numbness. I got a comment. I got a comment last week. What did I eat last week? I can't remember. Some really chewy pork. Really chewy. And it's definitely on the dry side. I'm just swallowing it. Getting some of that feeling in my cheek. I got a comment. Whatever I was eating, something was numbing. And they were like, that's botulinum toxic. I was like, so you're telling me that it was riddled with botulism? I don't think so. I don't think that's what's going on. Maybe there can be slight amounts of it. I don't know. I need to figure that out and research that. But that doesn't seem right or sound right to me. I'm not going to do the coffee yet. It's still nice and hot. Yeah, it's definitely got a weird bitterness to it. And kind of like a industrial. It's a weird flavor. I don't know how to describe it. Other than what I've already said. And I love the lemon lime drink. Like, it truly is one of the better drinks. Not a huge fan of the cherry. The grape from this era is it's better than the new one. It's considerably better. I think all the old drinks are better than the new ones, actually. So, yeah, but let me just put it this way: that person left on that comment, my girlfriend's a food scientist or something. I have consumed so many foods that made that I had a stinging and numbing sensation, which would, like, I've consumed a lot of botulism if that's the case. Um, and as far as I know, botulism has zero scent or taste. Maybe it does have a stinging and numbing effect. I don't know. I've not ever, that I know of, maybe knowingly consumed botulism. I didn't think there was any indication. That's why I thought you could, or the way I understand it, you could encounter botulism in a restaurant and eat the food. You'd never know it. There'd never be any indicators. It would look perfect. It would taste perfect. It would smell perfect, because there's no, like, visual or olfactory warning signs. Yeah, that's usually what I do. Like, someone even, like, well, depending on how well I know the rations. Like, sometimes I've eaten many out of a case and I know it's going to be fine. But like, I think it was last week or week before, I didn't really know the history behind it, and I didn't really know. And I was like, I'm going to try a little bit before I just dive right into this one. And I was like, take a big bite. And I'm like, just give me a second. I'm going to try it out first. And then if that goes well, then we'll go in deeper. That's approached the whole eating vintage foods aspect of being able to eat these old foods is, well, I know what a lot of things to look for now. I trust myself. I trust my palate. I trust what I'm doing. I trust myself, which is, I think, the biggest thing about the whole. I know myself, and I know my palate, and I know the side effects and stuff that I've had to go through. So I try to approach it with caution. Prefer white over purple or red? Depends on the time of year for me, because a lot of times, like, I'm a texture eater, so texture is going to be a factor for me, and then the level of sweetness that the grapes have, because sometimes the, wait, you said white ones? You prefer the white ones over purple or red? Yeah, you mean the green ones, called white grapes. But yeah, usually the white grapes are a lot more firm. Usually, not always though. I mean, that's not always the case. Like I said, it just depends on the time of year, and sometimes the purple grapes are sweeter when, just depending on the time of years. But most of the time, I prefer white grapes myself. I mean, this doesn't taste bad enough. I don't want to drink it. It does have a weird taste to it. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. All right, let's keep going. I want some crackers and peanut butter, which should go pretty well with the coffee, I think. Don't you? I'll use this little piece first. It's going to be some nice looking 28-year-old peanut butter, I'll bet. Look at that. Look at that. Some good looking peanut butter right there. My cracker's about to break. Hmm. Okay. That's one thing I don't like about these crackers, though. Is the flavor of the cracker can overpower some really nice, fresh, all-natural peanut butter. That should not be the case. The peanut butter should be the dominant flavor here, and it's not. Just try some peanut butter. Salty. Nice peanut flavor. Nice texture. Nice and thick and creamy, as peanut butter should be. But these crackers, man, the flavor on them is so strong. Yeah, they're just falling apart. Daggone cracker. Do little thin strips of crackers like this and put a bunch of peanut butter on. So I'm not a huge fan of a bunch of peanut butter ever. But that is some good looking peanut butter. It is just some good, solid quality, overall good, fantastic quality peanut butter. If you ever wanted to stockpile peanut butter and you can get your hands on a bunch of military peanut butter, whether it be packages or whatever, old or new, do it. Because I've never encountered a pack of peanut butter that was bad that I can recall. I might have had one that was compromised that might have been bad once. At one time. I did that so that I wouldn't fingerprint up the rest of it, just because I love the way it looks so much. It's so pretty for a cookie. Look at that. I mean, the reflection on this thing, look at that. It almost ain't right. Let's give this a try. That thing tastes brand new. It is super fresh. I've had them sometimes that aren't super fresh tasting. I mean, they're still good. They're just not like real fresh. This one, it tastes really fresh. The cookie part is nice and sweet and crunchy. Of course, oatmeal-y. I feel like a peanut butter cookie would have been a better choice. But the chocolate is absolutely perfect on this one. And sometimes it's a little bit more waxy than others, and sometimes it's got a little bit of a weird flavor. But, Let me try this coffee. I'll wash that down. Yeah, the coffee's definitely got a little bit of a weird taste going on. It's not bad. It ain't good. It's passable, I would call it. It's still nice and warm. Dip this. About half of it. Such a nice snack, though. Really, this is a nice treat that you could have carried in your pocket. Might have melted a little bit if it was right up against your leg. But you could have stuck it and carry it around as a nice little snack tab later. These cookies do not soak up liquid very well. It's not horrible though. Soaks up enough. And give it a little peanut butter. A little bit of a Reese vibe going on there. Better without it. Yeah. Daggone. I got dirt underneath my fingernails. I didn't even know. I've been working outside today. Got to get this place ready to build. I'm going to build a house here. Got to do something. And a garage. A house with a 3 or 4 foot garage. I haven't made up my mind yet. Might, well, do both. Oh man, didn't cut right. One more dip. Be aware that potatoes au gratin have a tendency to move on their own. What? I have never encountered that before. And God, I better never encounter that. If I encounter any MRE food that's moving, the way this stuff is prepared, MRE food in particular is prepared, it should be absolutely nothing that lives through that process. I mean, maybe I could see like some weevils getting into the like pork chow mein noodles, the chow mein noodles, but they would have to have been present at packaging because they're not getting through that packaging, I don't think. Although I have seen weevils eat through some pretty stout stuff before, they usually look for a weak spot of entry, whether it be like a cereal box or something like that. I will tell you guys, if you have TikTok, look up this guy got a Burger King burger the other day. I'm not going to tell you any more details about that. Just look up guy gets a Burger King burger, and I believe the video that I speak of will come up. Again, I don't want to go into any more detail because some of you guys might be eating right now, and I'm not going to do that to you. But it's certainly not good. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. Just got a short video that I just clipped right before this, and it's only 36 seconds long. And this is out of a 15-minute video that I recorded. Why it's not in vertical, I do not know. That sucks. Watch right here. That's a reflection of a light from that light right there. Oh, watch over here. Sorry. Okay, watch. So, moving really fast to the right. Did you see how it, like... Here, I'll watch, like, fast forward through it. Look, watch. Do you see how this one has, like, a smoke trail on it? Can you see that? All right. So, the other night, when I saw this, I didn't transfer the video that I'm talking about right now. So, what I'm showing you is a video from my back porch of what I can only describe to you as being UFOs, because I really don't have a clue what it is. I see them between 3 and 4 a.m. There are absolutely no airplanes or helicopters in the area. There are no running lights on, which are red and green lights. They have to be on every single thing that's flying in the air. It's law. And if you don't have them on there, you can get in a lot of trouble, which I'm sure there are drones out there flying. But at one time, the most lights I seen were 6. I seen 6 of these lights at one time. They were in a diamond shape like this. But something pretty weird. I don't think I had seen this before. I never noticed to see this before. The ones that were really bright, there was one in particular. I've got a video of it. I talk about it in the video, but watching the video back, you can really see it on the video. Is when it lights up, it's got like an aura around it, and it shoots what I can only describe as smoke out of one side of it, but it's shooting smoke out of the wrong side to be. It should be propelling it the other way, and it's kind of leading in the direction that it's going. Like it's blowing smoke off the right-hand side, and it's moving to the right. It's just, it's a strange thing. I don't know what I'm looking at. And again, you guys can call me crazy. I don't care. It's fine. Or anybody can think I'm crazy, but I get this weird feeling. And that hasn't happened since last summer. I have not seen those lights since last summer. I haven't seen them. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I'm saying I haven't seen them. But what was weird was the other night, the first night I seen these, which I've seen them 2 nights now so far, already this week, is I got this weird feeling in my stomach. And I was like, I should look over there. Like, it made me think, like, oh, I probably should look and see if there's anything over there. And there was. And they were extremely active for about a half hour. And then maybe 40 minutes. But they kept on for probably about an hour. It just was, it slowed down a lot. Like, their activity slowed down a lot. It's really weird. I don't understand. I can't. I know how crazy this makes me look. I do. It's not like I'm not aware of the craziness that I sound like. I get it. It's definitely not SpaceX. I live in West Virginia, first of all. The direction that I'm looking would be southern Ohio, or even possibly West Virginia, because there's bends in the river right there that could put that at the Parkersburg area, in that direction. Some of it is that direction. Some of it is towards the Athens direction. And the only thing I know to do is I know the time period. I'm going to have to drive over there, try to get these things in view, after I drive over there, try to get them in view in the sky and drive towards them. I don't know what else to do to try to figure out what it is. And I had someone check radar one of the nights that I know 100% that they were there, and there was nothing in the area right there. So I don't know what it could be. I've heard people said, "Oh, they got to be drones." They're flying too long for drones, and there's too many of them too. Like and drones have to have flashing lights as well. But I'm sure some people fly them without them. Then I also got it's flares. If they're flares, what are they coming from? What are they coming out of? Where's the plane that's dropping them, or the helicopter that's dropping them? Where's that at? Because it ain't there. It just ain't there. What's up, Super Bad Videos? Yes, I got a new video from the other night. It would have been Thursday, I believe. No. Friday or Saturday night. I don't know what night it was. And then I seen him the night after I saw him the first time. That video is from the first night I saw him. Then I saw him again the next night, and they just weren't like super active like they were. I come in to get the camera, went back out, and I just didn't video it. I guess I could set up a tripod out there or take I've got a Ring doorbell camera that I could put out there on the post on my back porch, but it would need to be triggered somehow, right? It doesn't just constantly record, so I don't know how that would work. I've got these Roku cameras that I bought before we went on vacation so I could keep an eye on the kids in here, and I used them for that one time, one thing only, and then I've just not done anything with them. I don't like cameras on Wi-Fi in a house. If I'm going to do cameras, I want them to be closed circuit. I don't like someone being able to sit out at, like, say, up at the grade school next to my house and tap into Wi-Fi and be able to see everything in my house. I don't like that. I don't like Amazon Alexas. I don't like Google Homes. I don't like any of that crap because of that freaking simple fact right there. If you do not think that the government has algorithms that picks up on every word that you say, they type in trigger words, and if you say something that triggers the algorithm that they have into their system, if you don't think that exists, I don't know what to tell you. You're wrong. You're wrong. And they do care about everyone, what they're saying, what discussions they're having, what they're talking about, if we're starting to get along and talk about something, working towards a common goal that is opposite of their interest or against them, they have a concern and they have a reason that they're listening. They want to know these things. So that the days of people saying, "Well, I'm just a nobody," they ain't going. It doesn't matter who you are. They're listening to you. Period. End of story. Everybody's data and conversations and everything is being collected. It just is. It's not a conspiracy. You can look into this yourself. It's 100% true. It's just what they do. Now, it's the current world we're living in. The only thing you can do to prevent it is to completely get rid of your cell phone. That's step number one. Step number two is to not have any of those devices that I mentioned or anything else that work like that works off a like microphone and it's hooked to Wi-Fi. Can't have that either. So yeah, I am with you, Blazing Gamer, 100%. Screw Zuckerberg and screw Amazon completely. Bezos can, yeah, he can take his company and shove it. And also, screw Bill Gates. One of the worst humans that I know about currently, like in the public eye. Someone that's filthy, filthy rich. See, that's like people are like, "Oh yeah, money corrupts you." No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Money brings out whatever you were before. It magnifies whatever you were before you had any money. If you were worthless or evil or a great person, any one of those, it's just going to enhance whatever that was. So Bill Gates wants the world to end. Obviously, he wants to depopulate the world and make you eat fake, well, cancer-loaded, cancerous chicken that he's created. It's created meat from cancer cells of chickens, which is just wonderful. So cancer cells reproduce 10 times faster than a healthy cell. So they use whatever, this machine uses cancerous chicken cells, and they reproduce 10 times faster. Hence, that's why they're able to make this paste that they're calling chicken, and they can feed that crap to you in restaurants and sell it to you in grocery stores and tell you it's chicken. They can tell you it's chicken. It is not chicken. That is not chicken. I don't care. I don't care what they say. This is just, it needs to stop. We're the ones that can stop these things. Like, we all have to come together for a common goal here. We got to put our differences aside and start thinking about the things that are just bad for us in general. Might be good for them, like the very few. But those are the things that we need to come against. We need to come together against these things and stop them. We don't need to allow this. We don't need, it shouldn't even exist. It should not exist. Farmers had everything under control until the government stuck their nose in there and starts taxing for methane and what all the bull crap that they're doing, telling farmers they are only allowed to have X amount of cows. And no, that's not the way that's going to work. If I win the lottery, I wouldn't change a bit. I'll still be up to the same old guy. I'll still be, I think you meant I'll still be the same old guy, but my shenanigans will be epic. Well, I like that saying, if I win the lottery, there will be signs. It's like I won't change anything, but, if the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs. That's what they said. I think that's just a common saying. Like, I can't remember what video I was watching that they were using that as an example. That saying, it was some product of some kind. But yeah, I mean, you can see it plainly with some people that have gotten rich, that it was one of the worst things that ever happened to them, because now they are, I would consider some of these people to be straight up just evil. That's like Klaus Schwab. I mean, dude, that guy is a picture-perfect movie villain. Like, he legit, all he's missing is a white kitty cat in his lap and, like, petting it with his weird hand. Yeah, Bill Gates wants us to own nothing and be happy and feed everyone bugs. Like, that's what they want. That's what these elite class, a lot of them, we don't even know their names, to be honest. Or the ones that are running like BlackRock and stuff, I'm assuming. I've seen some things on these people and things that are on their agendas to make us comply with, or to switch us over to, or to make us start using this, that, and the other. Like, I'm not okay with it. I hope most of you, I mean, there's always going to be someone that's like, sure, I'll go along. I'll do it. I won't have to pay for my food. What? I won't have to worry about rent. What? Yeah. No, you don't want that. Ultimately, you do not want that. They do. This is, when I try to talk to people about this and I get the whole, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. I beg of you to read their own written agenda, the Agenda 2030. Just read that, and then we'll have a conversation after that. That's all I ask. If, after you read Agenda 2030, you still think that they're doing things to better the world and to better population, then I'm probably going to call you mentally ill. Like, you got a screw loose or screws loose, because that there's nothing in that agenda that is good for regular everyday humans. And you read that and you think, well, okay, so they want to make this all basically one, but who's going to be handing these things out? Who's going to have control of these things? Well, they are, of course. They're going to have all of everything you could ever want. They're going to have super huge mansions. They're going to have the same crap they got right now. They're going to have private jets. They're going to have all that stuff. They fly on a private jet one time and consume and produce as much carbon as we produce in an entire year, and they do it in one trip. One privately flown trip. Even if you find a way to power your house for free, which, if you really look into history, I do think electricity is probably everywhere. I think it's just about collecting it. I think Tesla had that figured out. Yeah, they'll just disappear you, or you'll go to have a meeting with someone like they did with that one fella. He went to have a meeting with a company, or maybe it was even a government official, I can't remember. And he was already super freaking paranoid already anyways. He was with his brother. I think this was about the car that ran on water or something. I think that's who it was. And he went to have dinner to discuss this, went in, and he got a water, took one sip, grabbed his chest and said, "They poisoned me," collapsed outside and died. Or you'll completely just disappear or they'll do you like they did the Boeing guy. Which, I've been thinking about that. Like, was that a distraction? They drew more attention by doing that than it would have ever had if they hadn't messed with it. And they had to have known that was going to be the case. They had to have known they weren't just going to get away with that. I mean, I think I told you guys last week where he had just had a conversation with a longtime family friend. He was just the pallbearer in that family friend's father's funeral at the very end of February. It's what it said. It was at the end of February. And whenever they had the conversation, he flat out told her that I would never unalive myself. And if it ever happens, he didn't do it. He had that conversation. And how many people have we known, like, in the past 10 years that have said that right there and then end up unalived? How many times have you heard a story about someone who unalived themselves? They got 2 in the back of the head or 2 to the chest or something. What? How can a medical examiner even be allowed to designate someone as doing that themselves when there was 2? Like, you're not going to hit one time and be like, "Oh, that didn't do it. Do it again." Yeah, that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. I'm here to tell you. That's just like Kennedy's dad. They blamed that on Sirhan. And the medical examiner, it was clear. He had the tattoo, like literally tattoo marks of it being pressed right up against him, behind him. And Sirhan was in front of him. And they could account for every single one of the shots from Sirhan. Chusik. Unfortunately, Smokey, I have come to terms with most people just being evil. I don't think that's the case. I don't think most people are evil. I think most people are good. I think the vast majority of people are just inherently good. I think it's just, it's those few that get that money, like I was talking about earlier, that enhances, like they just happen to be evil. Or they were influenced by someone who was evil. LC says, Smokey, Nikola Tesla was reported to have been listening into pings that were coming from either Jupiter or its moons, if I recall correctly. I'm sure if he had his way, we'd have had cell phones well before now. Thank you for the super chat, LC. Nikola Tesla was a fascinating guy. There's a lot more that I could learn about him, but I stayed in the New Yorker while I was in New York, just because of what they done to him, and that's where they kept him. They kept him in the New Yorker Hotel in New York. It's on like 34th and 7th, maybe. It's right across from Madison Square Garden. It's a beautiful hotel, old hotel, obviously. But they at first, I don't know if it ended this way, because he was in that hotel for 10 years, and the government was pumping him full of drugs the last 10 years of his life. And, well, I think it was Trump's dad or Trump's uncle. I can't remember. I think, for some reason, I think it was Trump's dad, but it must have been his uncle. Maybe his uncle is the one that ended up with all of Tesla's research, chests full of paperwork and just data that he had collected over the years. Tesla had stuff like that scattered in a few different places. I think he had some stuff put up. I think some of that stuff might have ended up in some private hands. I think Tesla, well, the way his electricity, the way he proved, like his proven method for electricity, pulling it out of the air and being able to distribute electricity without wires, just transferring it through the air of the ground, that was 100% proven, and it's been proven by other people since. Like, it worked. It works. And then you start really looking into history, and you start seeing all these metal spires that were on top of buildings, these beautiful, beautiful architecture, these old buildings that they all had metal spires on them. They all had bells, and I think there's a significance to the bells as well. I think there's something to do with vibrations that go along with these bells that helped and affected people's health. I read that, but I'm not going to read it out loud. You look back at the World's Fairs, and there's some really interesting theories on that, about these huge, like, city-sized complexes that they would build for the World's Fairs, that I do not believe the stories that they tell us, that they built them in less than 6 months, and then they just tore them all down afterwards. Why? Why would they do that? When they made some beautiful buildings, too. And I'm talking like the classic architecture, the classic designs, the stuff that was very pleasing to the eye to look at. Whereas buildings now are just, I mean, you may as well just say, all right, I'm going to design a building to look just like that right there. I'm going to tint the glass. It's going to have this dark tint to it, and it's going to look just like that, flat black and a rectangle. It's just, it's depressing. Here's a good example right here. Right on the side of this can from Paris. But stuff like this. That's the Louvre, right? What is that? What is that thing right there, that arch? And stuff like this. See, at the top? They'd have a metal bar coming up out of their copper, usually. And I think they captured electricity out of the air that way. Look here. Same with this. Right here. Same thing. And there's the Eiffel Tower. Also could have been capturing electricity. Look at that. Sealed can of smokes. Those are not easy to come by, let me tell you. Extremely hard to come by a can of smokes anymore. Extremely hard to come by. I want to grab a smoke. Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to go over to the box. I'm going to eat these little crumbs right here, too. Yep. You know what? I've been wanting one of these. I ain't had one in a few months. Where's my lucky smoke at? Is that it right there? Nope. Huh. All right. I wonder what's living in the Appalachians, or Appalachians. Heard there are aliens there. Isn't West Virginia in the... Yeah. So West Virginia definitely is the Appalachian Mountains, if not one of the most quintessential states in the Appalachian Mountains. Like, a huge part of our identity here, the Appalachian region and the Appalachian Mountains run right through West Virginia, right through the middle of it. So, who was it said that? Because what CR you said, lucky you don't like... I think anybody's lucky they don't live in California. Anyway. Say hi. You're good. Say hi, Goose. You got a mean look to you. It's a bizarro world here. Nothing makes any sense here. No laws if you steal. Free everything. Only if you don't work, though. And what you hear is true. It's very sad. I mean, I've never doubted for a second that everything that I've been seeing and hearing about California is true, especially the city areas, you know, San Francisco, all the bigger city areas there, LA, San Bernardino. So I was just watching somebody yesterday in California, and a cop was giving him a hard time about, it was something stupid. And I think I even commented on the video. I was like, so you're telling me that... And they were arresting the person. Like, completely illegitimate reason to be arresting them anyway. You're going to arrest somebody that's obeying the law, like doing what they should be doing, trying to do what they make an effort. And right down the street, people were running out of the store that had just stole thousands of dollars. I know it's a $950 limit, but nobody follows that. I've watched enough documentaries of these people that actually talk about it to know that they ain't counting up. There's a few that do. Make sure they don't break that $950 limit, but most of them do not care. They're just taking. And then I watched this woman, and she's a politician, completely like shiny bald. She was shiny bald, and she's standing up there talking about when the pharmacy moves out of the area, you didn't give nobody... I think it was Walgreens that was moving out. You didn't give anybody any advance, and they have to go 5,000 feet down the street. 5,000 feet, not even a mile down the street to the other one. That's how close the next one is. And she was raising all kinds of heck and leaving behind the community, and they didn't have... It's like, lady, why would a business stay in an area like that? Anyways, so back to the Appalachia thing. I don't know who said that, but if you look up, you can look this up and read about my area if you feel like it. I'll tell you what I know, what I've read, and what I know from living here. Is the Native Americans that lived here, not in this county, they would not, they refused to use this property, even though Mason County is where two rivers meet. The Kanawha River comes down, and the Ohio River is going downriver right over here. So this county has the Ohio River running. That's one of the borderlines of this county. And then another borderline of this county is the Kanawha River. They come together down in Point Pleasant, and they refused to use this area. They didn't put animals here. They would let animals graze here as they walked them through. They did not set up shop here. They did not use this land and would not use this land. And the reason that they said this is back before they did what they did to Chief Cornstalk. Back before Washington chunked it all up and gave it away and then was fighting with the Indians. It was before that. But they refused. Time out. Let me go see what's going on over here with the cat. Stupid camera. Okay. Anyway, alright, so they refused to use this area because their explanation, their reasoning behind it is they said that here is where the dead would walk at night and where the people from the sky come to visit. You can look this up. That's what the Native Americans said. I can tell you from living here almost my entire life, not my entire life, but I was born and more or less raised here. Lived over in Ohio for a while. Graduated school over there. I believe it. I mean, I've showed you guys a little bit of the proof that I've captured. I didn't have a phone that would capture things in the night sky up until I got this one right here. It wouldn't capture things. So I would see things all the time that were super interesting, and I couldn't capture them because my phone would not pick things up in the sky. So, as far as the people from the sky, so they said, would come to visit, I've seen plenty of things that are unexplainable to me. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen some really crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff. The first sighting that I had was in 2007. I was on my way to work. And on my way to work, I saw these three, they look like stainless steel ball bearings is what they look like. But I mean, they must have been quite large because they were way up in the sky. I'm talking, they looked like they were probably rolling at like 60, 70,000 feet. They were way up, higher than what airplanes were flying. And there was three of them. And like, I'm going to use this as the sky. There was like one here, and one here, kind of in a triangle shape, but not really. And underneath each one, there was a curlicue, like a pigtail, of smoke. It was just a perfect curlicue pigtail of smoke underneath each one. And I'm driving to work, and I'm keeping an eye on these things as I'm driving. I'm watching them. They're not moving. It's really weird. And before I get to work, about 3 miles, 4 miles before work, I had to stop at a gas station, get some gas, pick up a couple things for my lunch. I was working in an aluminum factory, Ravens with aluminum. We made aluminum for NASA and Boeing, both. We had huge contracts with both. Huge contracts. One was billions, 3 billion, I believe, and the other one was hundreds of millions. So anyway, I go in the gas station to pay for everything, and next to the cash register is a big bay window. And I asked the woman working the cash register if she could see those things outside, because if you looked outside, you could see them. They were just like, they happened to be where you could see them, and you could judge by the power lines that they were not moving. So like the power lines were within your line of sight and kind of splitting them, and you could tell that they were not moving. And as I'm talking to her about, I've been watching these all the way here, and I'm like, I wanted to know if you've seen the same thing I'm seeing, more or less, confirming what I'm seeing. And as we're talking about it, the one in the middle went and just gone, and the smoke, like it kind of did a, and was gone. It was shocking, is the word I would use. It was exciting. we both were like, holy shit, did you just see that? And she ran out from behind the counter, and we both ran outside, like, looking at it. I had to go to work. I wasn't very far. I mean, I'd only been at that job maybe, I don't know, a couple months, 3 months. And it was like the job to get. It was the job I really had been, it took me 2 years to get hired on there. I wanted that job. It was a great job. Had full-blown insurance my entire family from the day I stepped foot on the property as an employee. I was covered from day one. Anyway, it was a good job. So that was the first, like, astonishing sighting that I had, and it's highly unexplainable. There's no way to explain that to me. I don't think there's an explanation for it, because there was 3 silver balls that looked like ball bearings. They were super shiny, like stainless steel, polished stainless steel, because of the reflection off the sun. My nose is itching. Anyway, that was number 1. That was like a really astonishing sighting that I had. I'll tell you another good one. This would have been back in like 2017, 2017 probably. I stopped by the cemetery up here one night. I had the dogs with me. My pilot that I worked with, I worked on the river on the boats. He passed away, and I had the dogs out. We drove up by there, me and my son. And I was like, I'm going to stop here and look, see Aubrey's grave. And that was his name. And I got, because he likes Sebastian. He liked my little poodle, my little toy poodle. Got out, and Sebastian's over by his headstone. And Stella takes off. And it's nothing but an open field over there. All the way to the river. It's a huge area up there. Farmland, wide open. There's no house. Well, there's one house, but you can't see it. There's a house back there, and then there's one across the street, across the road, main road. And then there's just open field. Open field. All like huge open fields. And Stella took off like a rocket out into that field running. Oh yeah, new cigarettes definitely have more bad stuff in them. I want to try that stuff that Tucker Carlson suggested, because if it helps you quit smoking, I want to try it. Can't remember what those things are called, though. They might have them at the local store, though. Anyways, so when she ran off, like, I honestly thought we'd never see her again. I was scared to death. I think I happened to have a flashlight with me because I'd got out and we were over at the headstone and I had a flashlight, I'm pretty sure. Well, my son, this is when Alex still lived here. Alex took off to get her because I was on 2 crutches at the time. Heck, I might even been on a walker at the time. I don't know. I could have been on a walker. Anyways, he found her. Thank God. He was able to track her down. And he was coming back. And as he was coming back, like I heard him say, I got her. He was way off. And he started coming back. So I just, I stopped looking for her. I didn't have to look for her. And I started scanning the sky. And it's super dark up there. Super dark. So there's no light pollution or anything like that. You can see really well in the sky. And I started seeing these lights, like, say I'm that fast, like this is the fastest ones I've ever seen, outside of maybe when that one took off, because it was just like the blink of an eye. If you've ever saw the sighting at the Dome of the Rock, if you have not seen that video, I highly suggest you check that one out. I don't know if it was faked or what, it doesn't matter, because that's exactly what this thing done, the smoke one. Now I see these this night that were up there, and there's like 4 of them, 5 of them, and they're all going different directions, and they'll shoot here, stop, shoot, and like real quick. So anyway, Alex gets over near me, and I'm like, dude, you got to see this. What is this? What is this? And he looks up and he sees it and he starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my, what is that? What are they coming?" I was like, "No, dude, I don't think so." I was like, I don't know what that is, but it's super interesting to see. At least I thought so. He was kind of scared of it at first, and I guess I kind of understand that. They look like they were super far away. They look like, I mean, again, above where planes would be. If I was to guess, like really edge of the atmosphere, looked like they were probably miles up, miles and miles, obviously miles and miles, like 10, 15 miles, like way up there. And they were moving so fast, and there was a few of them, and we watched them leave. We watched them take off and leave the atmosphere, I guess. It was just super, and this, I would say that, well, no, I guess drones would have been common at that point, but people around here, especially, like, they've gotten cheaper as times went on, but people around here really didn't have drones, especially not multiple of them. You know what I mean? What else he say? Elsie with another super chat. Thank you, by the way. You do not have to send a super chat. I'll try to look down and read your chats. Anyone else having the stream freezing issues? I've restarted my stream and my console many times. Smokey's cluking? Smokey's looking. I think you meant looking. Smokey's looking surprised, and he froze. On my end, my stream appears quite smooth. CR said, "Yeah, froze for just a second here." Pat says, "Not for me." The frozen state. I'm sorry. Yeah, I probably look like a weirdo frozen or something. In my frozen state. Oh, burnt the mustache. It's almost gone. It's gone. Burnt my fingers. The Native American story is breathtakingly amazing to listen to. When you learn how to translate them to stuff that you can know can happen or does happen. Yeah, well, I think it's super interesting that they wouldn't use this land or develop this area, because, like I said, this is some of the most fertile soil probably in America, and they refuse to use it for farmland. And then to top it all off, the cherry on top, whenever they massacred and murdered the military guys, it was one of the most quintessential battles that happened, kicked off right there in Point Pleasant. And it's something you do not learn about in history class. For some reason they don't teach this, but it kicked off the Revolutionary War. That battle right there, it very well could have been what kicked off. And it was because of murdering Cornstalk. They went in, they had Cornstalk and his son locked up. As a matter of fact, you know what, guys? I'm going to highly suggest you go watch a video that I'm in over on Gabe's channel, where we go through and break down some of the paranormal stuff about Point Pleasant down there, and the Cornstalk story, the story about the park down there. He just sent me a link to it the other day, and I highly, highly suggest you guys check it out. I'll try to remember to put a link to it in the description of this. I think I might be able to, I can't do it right now because I'm live, but I could do it right after. But I know it's over on his channel. I'll pull it up and show you guys real quick. Let's see, Gabe. There we go. My name is Gabe. Videos. Okay, so it was 7 days ago. It's titled, here, I'm going to flip it around. Right here. Right there. Paranormal Investigating featuring Oldsmokey right here. It's quite informative. I have watched this video myself, and it's pretty well done. I think me and him both. It's easy to listen to. The speech throughout is nice and fluid. There's not any really boring aspects to it. I think it's quite well put together and very informative. But whenever they came in and killed Cornstalk, they murdered his son right in front of him. Shot his, I think he only shot his son like one time, and he was sitting in a chair. He didn't even get up when they came in and were attacking. His son just sat there, and they killed him. One shot. And they shot Cornstalk something like 12 times, and he lived. He was alive. And they were using muskets now, if that tells you anything. I mean, they murdered him and 3 or 4 other Indians with knives. Like, it was awful. But before he passed away, he cursed them in that area and said that that area would never thrive, that that area would never prosper. And it hasn't. Never has. When rivers were the main thoroughfares, when they were the main way to get from point A to point B, because rivers back in the day used to be one of the quickest and best ways for transportation. Point Pleasant's a river city. That's what it is. I mean, like I said, that's where 2 rivers meet. I would say Point Pleasant, in its heyday, would probably population-wise be roughly about where it's at right now. There were some more businesses that done, and back then, small business and stuff done a lot better. Obviously, I mean, your Walmarts, your Amazons, your crap like that has killed what American dreams were all about. Like, you can't start a business and just thrive and make it anymore, hardly. Like, you got to get lucky, or you got to be in the tech space or something like that. Starting a new restaurant chain. What's the newest restaurant chain that you guys can think of that didn't start 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago? Like, I can't think of very many. Chick-fil-A, how long has it been around? I mean, we still we don't have one around here, period. We just don't have one. Chipotle might be newer-ish. It's probably still 20-some years old. Yeah, I haven't seen anything take off, though, in the last 10 years that I can think of, as far as, like, a new chain goes. I'm trying to think. Everything I know of has been around, or it's shut. Like, a bunch of stuff is gone. Bunch of stuff. Department stores, restaurants, tons and tons and tons of stuff is gone. I did see an article yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it was talking about Ames coming back. I don't know if you guys remember Ames or not, the department store that was around before Hills, and then it was around before Walmart. Yeah, you shall dream about rainbows and unicorns. That's about what having an American dream's like anymore. Should do a show on conspiracies, and smoke and taste MREs, and talk about... Oh, you don't want to get me started on 9/11. 9/11 is one of the most under talked about. It's just, people are afraid to talk about it. People are afraid to talk about it for probably good reason. I think that's something. It was kind of, for our generation. It's for my generation. It's the Kennedy event, right? It's nothing adds up. Nothing adds up. And the coincidences, if you really think they're coincidences, I don't know. I don't know what else to say to you. The coincidences they're impossible, let's be honest. Like, the fact that they could be running a drill at the exact same time with the exact same scenario. What? And then I've heard people arguing about Building 7. Okay, the 2 buildings that did come down were hit by jumbo jets. Okay, which those buildings were designed to take that anyways. A slightly smaller jet, but they were still built to take that damage. Uh, Even though, like, the jets hit on one side, it should have been a side damage. Of course, there'd be damage throughout, but I mean on the side, yes, some fire, but there weren't a whole lot of materials in there to burn. Let's be honest. They'd burn off rather quickly, and the most of 90 to 95% of the jet fuel burn off within a minute and a half or something, 2 minutes. Like, it burns off quick. It's jet fuel for a reason, you know. But Building 7 to come down the way it did, and it never got hit. I've seen there was fiery stuff that came off the other buildings that hit it. I just can't. I can't argue with people about that. I can't argue with. I definitely can't argue with the explosion videos that I've seen, which are extremely hard to find on the internet anymore. If you find them, they're usually part of another video. You can't just find that video on its own. There used to be a compilation of them, and the loudest and most undeniable one is when the guy's standing outside on a payphone. I think he calls his mom. I think he's trying to call his mom on a payphone out there, saying that he's all right, and then you hear thum thum thum, like it's like a I mean, it's a sharp explosion. I don't know, that stuff that day. It's sad on a lot of different aspects, and the fact that I would say 99% of us bought every single thing that they fed us that day, and the weeks after, months after, every single aspect of everything they told us, we took it hook, line, and sinker, and that was it. Didn't question it. Didn't even think about questioning it. Which, I was young at the time. I was young and stupid at the time, and maybe people that were older did question it. I never ran into anybody back then that did. And I went to look. I was in New York right before it happened. I was in New York. I want to say June, July, right after school. I was 17. June or July, August. And then we went to Columbus to build the Polaris Fashion Place. The Polaris Mall is it's a fashion place, whatever that is. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the fastest fashion place ever built at the time. I was there when it happened. I was in Columbus, Ohio, building that when it happened in 2001. But I had just been in New York. Like, I had just been there working. And then I took Amber to New York not long after it happened. Got a bunch of disposable cameras, and I think that's all we used back then. And there were actually really good pictures with those disposable cameras. I've got stacks and stacks. I think I've got like 4 stacks about that thick that are, I'd say, a couple hundred pictures each stack. Got them in a table in there somewhere. I haven't seen them in years. But by the time we had got back there, which I think we were there in October or November. It was within 2 months of it happening. The entire site had these black mesh fences up that were, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 feet high. And I had to put Amber on my shoulders and lift her up on my tippy toes, and she had to take her arms like this and like bend them over that gate thing and snap pictures over top of that black mesh gate to keep people from seeing inside. There was a platform across the street at the church can't remember the name of the church now. It's still there. We just, whenever I took Amber and everybody, my kids and stuff, 2018 I took them all. We went to that church and seen where we were at 20 some years prior, about 20 years prior. I guess at that time it would have been 16 years prior. Yeah. I agree. Super bad videos. Jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel. It doesn't burn long enough either. Let's be honest. Jet fuel burns off quick. It's a diesel. It's a form of diesel fuel. The offices that was investigated missing money got hit perfectly. Always thought the government had something to do with it. I think we can easily say that the people that we went after for that day didn't do it. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard about this before. I'm about ready to run out of my battery too, so I have to wrap this up pretty quick. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the dancing Israelis. So this woman, you can still find this interview. If you look this up, if you just look up the dancing Israelis, you'll find this interview that this woman gave. These guys got arrested too, by the way. I don't know if anything else came of it, though. I don't think they arrested them and charged them with anything. They might have deported them. I don't think they even did that. But that day before it even happened, she saw these guys on a roof next, her building was next to a shorter building, so she could see the roof of the building next to her. If you ever been in New York, you know what I mean. You'll see the tops of buildings, water towers on them and stuff, and you're on the 15th floor, but your building's 80 floors high or something. You know what I mean? 60 floors high, whatever. And she saw these guys dancing around, kind of being weird over on the roof of this building. And then she noticed that they had a video camera set up. And we've never seen this video because what they had set up should have captured the first hit. We've only ever seen the one video of the first hit. But look up the dancing Israelis. You can hear her explanation for the whole thing. And then also after that, there were other same nationality people that were driving around a box truck that had it happen, but it was a picture of a plane flying into. And they also arrested 3 or 4 of them in, I want to say it was the George Washington Tunnel. It was one of the tunnels that they arrested them in a white van. That also, you can still find a news report for that. But I think that indicates that they at least had prior knowledge of it. I mean, that's for sure. Whether or not they knew and had something to do with it or not, but they really had prior knowledge of it. They knew it was about to happen. Wait, is it still free? Not ready to die. I just had to dismiss the battery notification again, second time. So I'm down below 10%, I think it said, or 5%. She did not know that they were Israeli. That was found out after they were arrested. That wasn't something she didn't say. And the interview that they have of her is something, and they kind of go through what happened that day, and people get confused thinking that the news showed up the same day that it happened. That didn't happen. That news report that happened months or even a year after that happened with the woman that saw them, and they did get arrested. Like I said, you can look that up. She didn't know that they were Israelis, but that came out later. She found out from the news, or maybe she asked the cops or something. I don't. Maybe later. I don't even know that she mentions it. It's just that's what they were dubbed in media. They were dubbed the dancing Israelis. That's what it's always been called. I actually remember seeing and hearing something about this many years ago before I was ever on the internet or anything. So that means that I had to have had caught it on some sort of Inside Edition or news or something like that. But it's pretty interesting. But I think we can agree that Saddam Hussein did he didn't have nothing to do with it. Super bad. That's a point that I bring up a lot. The most surveilled building in the world, and we don't have. First of all, their explanation on how it happened is impossible. You're going to tell me that this airplane came through and cut through it knocked down 4 light poles, solid, not solid steel, but thick steel light poles. That would have ripped the wings right. Have you ever seen an airplane that's hit a duck or a goose or a bird? Have you ever seen it caves the entire nose of the airplane in? Like legitimately caves it in. Not like a little dent. No, the whole friggin' thing caves in. And this thing was supposedly going super fast. Let's be honest, inches off the ground. 3 feet, 4 feet off the ground, supposedly. And even closer to the ground than that, the closer it got. And took out 4 light poles. And it the plane itself held together well enough to not fly into a million pieces, going 400 miles an hour, 500 miles an hour. It makes no sense. Even if it was going 350, let's say it was going 350 miles an hour. Have you ever seen a funny car? Whenever like the slightest little thing goes wrong, they fly into a million pieces because of how much wind resistance is on them. And you're going to tell me that you're going to hit a light pole and that thing ain't going to rip into a gazillion pieces? And that's another thing too. Another problem that I have is the Pennsylvania site. There was nothing there. Nothing. Let's just say that it did a complete straight nosedive at 550 miles an hour. You're going to tell me it's going to vaporize everything? I do believe there would be some major damage and even disintegration of parts and things. But there was virtually nothing left. There should have been chairs with people strapped in them. Like it shouldn't have been nothing, which is all I ever seen. I've looked at pictures of that over and over and video from the site. There's nothing there. A little bit. There's a little bit of nothing. Nothing I've seen that was really substantial. But the Pentagon one, they confiscated every video from across the street at gas stations everywhere. And then, of course, they had hundreds of hours of video. Even if you just added like the 3 or 4 minutes, you could see it approach, whatever, different angles. I'm sure there was at least a couple hundred hours of videos that there would have been a little something that was significant on there. We get 3 seconds of something that you absolutely cannot see. I've looked at this thing over and over. There, you can't see what the heck's going on. Here's the video of what happened from the gate. They've got like a gate that you drive through, probably flat, and kicks the arm up or whatever. There's probably a guard sitting there too. I mean, it's the Pentagon. I'm sure there probably is a guardhouse there. But that's the video that you get that's facing where this thing hit, which I'm not going to say it was an airplane, because I don't think it was. But this is a topic that's still hard to talk about for some people. You bring this up with people, and they're still like, and I do kind of get it, because I bought the story hook, line, and sinker as well for many years. I would say I probably didn't start questioning it until like 2007, 8, something like that. I don't know. I just bought it. Again, I bought it. I believed that the mainstream media wouldn't lie to us. Weird. And then I had some things happen in my life whenever I was younger that taught me some lessons that whether it be a local newspaper, a local news channel, a national news channel, or a mainstream media channel. They will say or do whatever they think is going to, at that time, collect the most readers or the most viewers. Now it's the most clicks. That's what they're going to go with. Doesn't matter if it's true. They don't care. They care about their bottom line. That's really where it's at. And I think there's some other factors that they're also told what to say and what to do. Actually, I know they are. There's been accidents where planes hit the ground more or less nose first. And the only thing, little pieces of engines. I've never seen that personally. I've seen planes hit the ground nose first, and there were chunks. Like, we're not talking about a little plane here, and we're talking about titanium parts, and we're talking about engines that, even if they fly apart, there's still going to be big chunks of them. Again, even if it hit as fast as it could have possibly been going, which I think would roughly be about 550 miles an hour, full throttle, nose down, just because of the wind resistance against the plane itself, there wouldn't be nothing left. And then another thing that I have a problem with is if you look at the debris of the buildings afterwards, let alone the fact that we can literally watch the video of them disintegrating before our eyes. They're literally just disintegrating before our eyes. You watch that last pillar that's up, and you watch it just decay, and like, it's crazy. I don't understand what happened there. I'm not going to act like I do. I know architects and engineers, there's thousands of them that do not agree with the NIST report. But whenever you see pieces of phone and like little pieces of chairs that have incorporated themselves into chunks of concrete, and the site itself burnt for months, not a day or two. It burnt for months with virtually no air feeding it. Let's be honest. Like, once this all piled down on top itself, it should have smothered itself out quite quickly. Like, even if there was a fire there, it should have certainly not been there for very long. But if you look at the radar, like the heat sensors that they had with the satellites, like, it burnt for months. Explain that. I don't think anybody's got a good explanation for that. When I was in 5th grade, I almost got ran over while walking on the side of the road by a completely blacked out Jeep. Okay. That sucks for sure. James, you are correct. Yep, letter agencies and enemies they've pretty much infiltrated anything important in America. I flipped them off, then they turned around and tried to come after me again. Thank God my friend lived close and was home. You said a black Jeep. Wait, did I miss something with the story up here, maybe? Ever been to Mike Lenning's? It's a fish restaurant right on a tributary of the Ohio River in Louisville. I've never been there, no. I'm sure I've been by there. I've been up and down the Ohio River multiple times through Louisville and stuff. But no, I'm not a big fish guy, or seafood or fish or whatever. I probably would never choose to go there. If I was in Louisville, I wouldn't. I mean, I've been to Louisville a few times, but nothing sticks out in my head of places that I've ate there. The biggest in Louisville is the Muhammad Ali building, with Muhammad Ali's picture kind of incorporated onto the glass on the side, and the bat, obviously, the big Louisville Slugger. It's a real pretty city from the river too. Like looking at Louisville off the Ohio River, it's pretty. I was walking down the street and a steel fab company hired me and trained me to build high-rise buildings. Oh yeah, James, like that stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of steel guys, like guys that are into building high rises. I'm pretty sure they still do a lot of high beam walking. Like they still walk beams without safety harnesses on and stuff. You have to. There's no way you can be tired off all the time. I don't care what anybody says. It's just it's highly inefficient. But if you're good, if you're a good steel worker, like or iron worker, whatever you want to be called, steel. Why am I getting a brain fart right now? Huh. Anyway, I've been in and out of the trades my entire working career. Started off as an electrician, but yeah, I've worked on some buildings. There were security cameras shut down for a week for maintenance. Are you talking about the Pentagon? Oh yeah, the nanothermite that was found all over the stuff that people independently took and had this debris and stuff that they could collect. Tested people that lived right near the areas had the stuff in their house and had the little tiny red particles all over it. So here's an interesting thing, Blazing Gamer, and this is one thing that like I point to for anyone who wants to see something that still exists today. If you go to you can look this up too and see the pictures of it. But if you go to the 9/11 Museum or you look it up, in the very basement where the original columns were at, the original like beams that tied the buildings to the ground, you'll see that they left this beam. This was there right as they were digging the buildings out, and there were guys that went down there before the buildings were ever cleared out of there, which if you go all the way to the very basement, like people were still able to walk through, like some of those areas would get through down there where the subways and stuff ran through. So in the very I guess you call it the sub basement, the bottom floor, there is a beam, and it's about that thick. It's a square beam, so it's about that thick all the way around. I'm going to say 8-ish inches thick, roughly. So it's 8 inches thick. I would say 6 to 8 inches thick. It's been a while since I've been there and looked at it. And it would be a, oh, dang it, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's kind of like a tube beam. It's not round. It's a square. It's a square tube. And it's cut. They didn't cut it with a torch either, by the way. This has been there ever since they were first clearing the buildings out. You could see this, and that's why they left it. Is because it was just that's how it was after the buildings fell, and it's cut at almost, if not a perfect 45-degree angle. It's interesting looking. That's all I got to say about that. Like I would have to say one of the most damning pieces of evidence that you can still look at today that just does not make any sense whatsoever. I mean, let's just say, like, how would I don't know. Like, you have to look it up and look at it if you've never seen it before. It's explainable / unexplainable if you go with what they tell you. Like, there's no way that could happen. If that makes sense, like if you go by what they tell you, there's no way that could happen. But if you start using logic and theory and evidence, then you understand what happened to it. And it's something I will never forget. It showed me that I have a very good survival instinct. We could be living in a simulation, CR. I think it's probably more likely than not. Although I don't know that we're living in a simulation. So I think everybody has their own theory. I don't know that everybody lives by the exact same thoughts on what our life is and reality is. And as of recently, the more I've been thinking about everything, just everything in general, life and everything that happens and everything that exists and everything that we can see, smell, taste, everything, and all the circumstances that everything like works together or doesn't work together. It's when you look at it as a whole picture, and then you start looking at the fact that like we are full of electricity and we like more or less work on ones and zeros, just like computers. It's kind of hard to deny the fact that there is most certainly a creator. I don't see how anybody can argue to the contrary whenever you really start factoring in everything. When you just start looking at everything that is and has to work together. It's hard to think that, or to believe now, that there's not someone who designed all this to work together, to be a thing. The earth and people and animals and insects and parasites and just every single thing that exists, and more or less everything has a job that it was supposed to do. The things that went extinct that humans have caused to go extinct is really sad, and I'm sure that they served a large purpose of some kind. Like, there was something more to their story. Hang on a second, my cat's wanting in. I think it's Minnie. I'm coming. Whoa. Hey, buddy. Hey. I got you. I got you, bud. There we go. Let go. I got you. Wow. You got yourself stuck. Here, let's go say hi to everybody real quick. Let's go say hello real quick. Don't scratch me, because you can't see. He just got stuck in the door. Oh, man, that other eye. He almost can't see anything at all. I'm going to look around and see if it's possible for me to get him at least one eye taken care of. Hey, buddy. Hey. How you doing? Huh? How you doing, Bubba? Huh? How you doing? Huh? Gotcha. Gotcha. He ain't got a very good temperament anymore. He gets mad pretty easy. He doesn't like me handling him or petting him. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. My goodness, your eyeballs are cloudy, buddy. They've gotten worse. Poor fella. I hope it doesn't hurt him. Sound like cat food just got tipped over. Hi, buddy. How you doing? You hungry? Huh? Here, I'm going to take you to your food. I'll be right back. Okay. Let me read through the comments real quick, then I'm going to have to shut this live stream down because my phone is going to die for sure. How'd we go from rations to 9/11? Somebody said something about 9/11. Yeah, yeah, it happens. And Blazing Gamer said, "Who knows?" I don't know about reptile people, man. Like I've never seen anything real when it comes to that. I do. I mean, like I said, I think there's a creator. I think I listened to a really interesting interview the other day of someone who has studied and directly dealt with near death experiences. I can't remember what I seen it on, what like podcast or whatever it was that I was watching. I'm sure that it was something like that. It might have been Theo Vaughn of all weird things that it might have been on. Might have been. I think it might. But that was really interesting to listen to because he had taken thousands of accounts and interviewed lots of people, and the similarities between them and identical situations that one couldn't know from the other. And that's really, really interesting to say that, for instance, they all, most of them, I should say, I think he said like 90%, didn't have any fear. One of the people that did have fear had been born blind and had never seen anything until she had the almost gone experience. And as soon as she floated up above her body, I guess she didn't even know what she was looking at. She was afraid. And then she realized that because of how she'd feel it, she had a ring that her dad had given her. And she realized from that, seeing that ring on her hand, that that was her. But 90% of people felt relief that, oh, now I'm finally who I'm supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. You know, it's kind of cool to think about, and have gives you hope that maybe that's how it's supposed to be. And then I also think about this aspect of what is it, 30% or something? 30% of people have no inner dialogue, have zero, like they don't have the voice in their head or whatever. Like, what's that about? I don't understand that at all. Like, I don't get that at all. I've always had it my whole life, and I've tried to imagine what these people who don't have it, like, what would that be like? It's just silence when you're not like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't get that. I really don't get it. That's because we got boring for the CIA and they left. I'm not looking frozen and shocked anymore. Yeah, that's probably not a good look for me. Investor, he says, right, I found out about that, and it's crazy. Like, that's really been something hard for me to wrap my brain around. We've designated him as possibly being like an NPC character, non-player character, and then the rest of us, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe we have a, maybe, I don't know. I can't say. I would feel bad about saying what I'm thinking. You understand where I'm coming from? Yeah, my battery's literally getting ready to die. There we go. I meant to have an old beer tonight, and I forgot. People who don't have it are NPCs. I mean, it's again, I've tried to think about, like, what would that be like for them? Like, what are they? What are their lives like? What are their silent times like? Like, is it real super easy for them to go to sleep? Because I don't know, if they're not watching something on television or listening to something, it's just silence. And I have to say that's something that I don't have much of in my internal echo chamber, whatever you want to call it up here, your internal thoughts, your internal sound, your internal voice. There's not much silence going on up there. Like I'm always thinking about something. What's next? What do I need to do? There's always something like that going on inside my head, or how to do something, or it's just always something. Always. I doubt that people don't have the voice like they honestly. LC, you've got to look into this a little bit, because these people exist. There's been studies about it done. They've really people that don't have the voice, don't have the internal thoughts that are. I mean, that's what it is. Internal thoughts of a voice that mine sounds like me, like my own sounds like myself. Maybe somebody else's doesn't, but I can change that sound in here. Well, not a whole lot. No, probably no more than I could do realistically myself. Maybe with a slight accent, or slight pitch change or something like that. But I can't. For instance, I can't say, "All right, Morgan Freeman, I want you to narrate." I can't do that. Maybe I can't do that. I don't think I've ever tried. Maybe I can, actually. Kinda. I was wrong about what I just said. Huh. Okay, well, anyway. Yeah, so that's an interesting thought now. Never really thought about it like that before. Huh. But yeah, definitely these people that don't have the internal dialogue, they exist. And I don't understand them. And neither does science. I don't think science understands them outside of the just plain and simple statement of, yeah, they don't have it. They don't have what most of us have. We're definitely the majority. I can't remember what the number was, but it was pretty high. I want to say it was like 20 to 30%, maybe even a little high. It might have been, I think it was 20 to 30%. Maybe been 20. I can't remember. I'd have to look into it again. It's been a while. You see the rainbow turd in your brain is like, I need to analyze the unicorn turd under a microscope to determine item's exact origin. It's probably CTs. Just got no proof as of yet. Deaf people never heard a voice in their life. See, but they do. A lot of deaf people do have an inner voice, though. It's a good question of what theirs sounds like. That's a good question. I do remember seeing something about that, about deaf people having a voice, though, that they could hear or not hear. But I don't hear it. I don't audibly hear it, but it's, I don't know, it's weird, ain't it? It's a weird thing. All right, yep. My stuff's getting ready to die. I'm gonna hop off of here. I don't know that I'll be able to do Saturday. I know this weekend might be busy. Easter's coming up this weekend. I might do another Monday stream again. That might be just a day. And I got to go out of town soon, too. Got trees to get cut down, a couple vehicles to get out of here, and then tearing my garage down. So it's going to be fun. Have I seen a ghost? I haven't seen like your stereotypical ghost. I have seen things that have, and as a kid, that I couldn't explain, which was a rocking chair in my grandma's house. I heard my poodle for a year running across my floor. Plain as day, I could hear him. People who say that dogs don't move on to a spiritual plane, I don't believe them. I believe the dogs move on to a spiritual plane. I just do. I think they have a soul, or whatever this thing is, a consciousness, whatever it is. I think they have it. Because, well, I don't know how else to explain that. LC, like I said, with Easter this weekend, and I know we got to go out of town, I'd say probably Monday. I'd plan on next Monday for this one, because I just know how this weekend's going to be. I've got a lot of stuff that I got to get done here that I'm trying to get done, and I got a couple doctor's appointments this week. So the weekend, my mom and dad are doing the whole get together thing. So all living things have a soul of some sort. You know, I've really been thinking a lot about that here lately myself. Because, I mean, grass is living, trees are living, and I do think that, I think there's a lot more to it than we'll ever know. We'll never know the answers to most of these things. As far as like living, moving, because I wouldn't call, I don't know how I would consider trees and stuff, but when it comes to dogs, I don't know what's different about dogs. I started off with this, even talking about the difference. It's just a different feeling that I have. It's not that I like one less than the other. Like, I like our cats, but it's, dogs have a different, I don't know, there's something different. There's something different about it. I can't explain or tell you exactly in words what that means to me, other than maybe there is a deeper, more soul-like, or a soul connection, and it's just, so I don't, you know, cats seem different for some reason, and maybe they have their own, like, whole other their own plane that they navigate, and it's just all cats, and they don't join us. But it seems like dogs might. I don't know, because that's a question we'll never have answered. The best you can get are those near not alive anymore. Like all the research that's been done into that. It was fascinating listening to this fellow that has done all these interviews with these people who have had the actual experiences. And it's, I want to say he said it's something only like 20 or 30%. Might said 40% of people that end up in that type of situation actually have an experience like that. The rest of the people, you know, their heart stops for a while and then they come back. Sometimes nothing happens for them. It's just over, like flipping a switch. Maybe those are the NPC ones. Maybe those are the ones without the internal brain. Whoa. Hi. Hey. Are you loud much? Here, you want to come here? Say goodbye. Lucy Magoosie. Lucy. There we go. Did I get both feet? I did, didn't I? What is it? See, I just feel a different kind of, like, I don't know. I feel a different connection here than I do with the dog. Again, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't claim to. What is it? Okay. Okay. All right. I got to wrap this thing up, so you got to get down. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. It was fun. It's good to talk about conspiratorial crap on occasion. Definitely shouldn't rule your life or think too much, I don't think, because it doesn't do you any good. But it's cool to talk about sometimes. I think it's fun. Fun topics sometimes. But with what I got going on out here, what I showed you guys, that's just a tiny part of that video. I wish I had the clip that I could show you of the other, that on that same video. There's a bunch of that activity going on. But at the same time, I'll have one that comes in, like, say, this is the picture, right, of the sky. I got one. It comes in from back here. I don't know what the heck, but it comes in from what, and it looks like it comes in from real high, and it comes in pretty quick, and it comes all the way, and I didn't even see it until today. Like, somehow I did not see that in the moment, but it comes all the way from, like, right up here where I start capturing it on camera, and I watch it come all the way in, and then it stops where the other ones are and disappears. And it's like, that clip itself is probably 30 seconds long of it coming in, like, from way up high. But like I said, I didn't even see it. It's really interesting. I'll have to try to clip it down and switch it over so I can show it to you on a different device, because it's pretty interesting. But all right, guys, that's what started this whole conversation. Somebody asked earlier, how did we get on this topic? That's what started it, getting off topic, was talking about that stuff. I got a couple huge bonfires that I need to burn too, which I thought it might be cool to do, like a just hang out. I wouldn't be able to, like, eat the ration like I do here, but I could still have one and do a bonfire outside, because I've got a huge tree that I got to burn. I'm going to try to burn the stump too. I might take an axe to it and try to chop up what I can of it and have it burning. And then I've got a huge pile of wood out here, and I got a whole tree that's got to come down. It's got to be burnt. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks, LC, for the super chats. I would just plan on next Monday, if I decide to do Saturday, like if things change, which I doubt they will, like if Mom was to cancel this weekend or something, then I would, as long as she does it by Friday, I would let y'all know Friday. But I don't want to see the kittens. I don't have kittens. I got cats. They're cats. Mainly, they stay outside. I got a couple that come in, but the blind one that just came in, he comes in because he is so blind. I don't feel like it's safe for him outside. I don't want him to walk out in the road and get hit or something. He's pretty good about staying away from the road, though, because I think he's scared too. So I bring him in and I'll let him stay in here, and I put him out. He goes and uses the bathroom outside and stuff, so he does all right, but I don't know. I feel sorry for him. I don't trust him. And then the other one right there, Lucy, I raised her from a tiny kitten, so she comes inside. All right. Are you happy, Lemon? I'm talking about an animal. Guys, I will see you in a week or so. And like I said, if anything changes, I'll let you guys know on Friday, but I don't think it will. All right, guys. Huge thanks to my patrons. Huge thanks to you guys. And I will see y'all on the next, probably, ration review. Later.